Hi, and welcome to this week's Auspicious Agile Video Blog. This week we're going to take a look at the culture change of DevOps. Now, we do have a written blog on the topic, and if you like a written format, you can take a look at auspiciousagile.com and find the written blog there. We're going to continue on looking at the cultural aspects of DevOps. This is really key because DevOps is more than just tools. You really have a culture change that's associated with it as well. So we want to look at the relationship of breaking down silos between development and operations, getting value very quickly to customers and to the market. So that is something we're really going to focus on as we look here. You'll also be able to take a look in the comments and find some of the links and references that I've referred to in the blog. And please do click on subscribe to the Auspicious Agile Video Blogs. Now, you'll notice that this diagram is one that you've seen before in the other blogs, to looking at how Agile and DevOps are related and how we're looking at getting concepts all the way from our customers through development, through operations, and to cash and to live, where we can get money and feedback and revenue and input for it. So let's take a look at some of the different cultural aspects with DevOps. I want to start with looking at the value stream concept and the continuous delivery pipeline. And this is the idea that we have a stream, a continuous flow of value, much like a Facebook or like an Amazon or a Netflix. We're not looking at simply, okay, one single project, but rather getting this flow of value consistently. Gene Kim has a great novel, The Phoenix Project, which is a novel about DevOps and continuous deploys and how an organization transforms from traditional to DevOps, 10 deploys per day or more, and this continuous delivery. And it's a great read to understand the cultural aspects that are associated as well. Highly recommend that. Now, let's take a look at the relationship between Agile and DevOps and Lean. They are closely related cousins and close friends, as you see here. So we have our Agile and the Agile Manifesto and the 12 principles, and Lean and the Lean Thinking House, the House of Lean, and DevOps and the different practices. And they're all related and very much all relevant in the world of DevOps as we look at the culture of DevOps. Other aspects as well that come into play are things like servant leadership. Now, servant leadership is the idea of leading as our form of service and serving through our leadership. So servant leadership is very key for DevOps, and just as it is for Agile and for Lean. And in Lean, the Lean Thinking House, leadership is the foundation. Very important to have the right style of leadership associated. And we have the ideas of good communication. Good communication, whether it's between development and operations, or whether it's with your customers or other aspects. We want to really break down silos and have great communication that helps us to be able to get a good flow of information through the value stream, through the organization. And empathy, understanding our customer, understanding that there are people who are trying to keep things up, and looking at uptime, people trying to get value through the value stream, and understanding and empathizing with them. So all different aspects, important traits culturally to have working in a DevOps organization or context. Also, DevOps is at its core a grassroots movement. So very similar to many of the different grassroots type movement. We look at a lot of open source skills and understanding of things like Bamboo and Chef and Jenkins and Ansible and Docker and others is really valued and really important in a DevOps concept. And that open source culturally is really very core in DevOps. Zevia Labs has a great reference called the Periodic Table of DevOps, which I recommend taking a look at. We'll try to include the link to that in the comments as well. So Zevia Labs, the Periodic Table of DevOps, takes a look at all the different tools, and at least many of them, and many open source and others. Also, we now want to look at workflow and process change, which are also key for DevOps. We are really looking at the idea of removing silos, making a smooth flow of value to live production environments. We're not looking at things getting stopped at one point or another, so we need to have a good process aligned with that and aligned with our culture change. Also key to understanding is understanding knowledge workers. DevOps workers are certainly knowledge workers because the definition says we're talking about somebody who knows more about their work than their supervisor, their manager, and that certainly is people working in DevOps and working in many of these technology areas. So the knowledge worker looks at autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Dan Pink Drive is a great reference on this. There's a great video you can find on YouTube looking at Dan Pink Drive, and also a book on the topic by Dan Pink as well. Now, there is a blog by Mirko Hearing that talks about DevOps leadership culture. And the DevOps leadership culture, some aspects that I like that he talks about are including team-based work. So instead of measuring just what one individual does from an HR practices and perspective, what instead we want to look at is how the team is producing value and delivering and rewarding that rather than creating a competitive environment where people are looking out more for number one, just the individual. We want them to look at his team. Also, funding value streams and funding financial cycles that allow value streams is really important. We don't want just a disparate single project basis. We completed the project and now we need to fund another project. We want value streams to be funded going throughout the organization, throughout the value from concept to cash, and we want to be able to support that value stream funding type model. Also, persistent teams, really important. So not just project teams, not just one team or having a team associated with a project, but rather instead having a team that persistently the work is coming to the team, the work is flowing through the team, and so they're not constantly forming, storming, and norming, but rather they're performing, delivering great value for the organization. And real-time dashboards. So real-time dashboards are showing us things like the status of our continuous integration, continuous deployment in the organization, escape bugs and defects, and many other things might be happening, the amount of value or points maybe delivered by Agile teams you might see. So a lot of different things in an enterprise real-time dashboard that are great for the enterprise to understand what's happening with their DevOps capabilities as well, and as well as Agile and Lean the organization. So hopefully that is some good food for thought for you today on DevOps, really keeping in mind that there's more than just the tools. There's the culture change, there's the process, there's the tools, and it's really important to look at all of these. So today we look at the culture, and thanks for listening, and stay agile.